Very good. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate this. Coach, if we can please begin naming your squad for Saturday's fixture
Okay,
against Glasgow, after which we'll take questions, which I will direct. Thank you.
thank you.
Coach, when you're ready.
Okay, perfect. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. The team for the Vodacom Bulls for the game against Glasgow is one Gerard Steenkamp, two Johan Grobelaar, three Francois Klopper, four Roan Vermaak, five Roan Nortje, six Marcel Coetzee and captain, seven Elrich Lou, eight Cameron Hanekom, nine Emrose Papier, 10 Handré Pollard, 11 Kurtley Arendse, 12 Harold Foster, 13 Kainan Moody, 14 Cheswell Jooste, 15 David Kriel, 16 Marco van Staden, 17 Jan Hendrik Wessels, 18 Morney Smith, 19 Kobus Wiese, 20 Jandre Rudolph, 21 Zak Burger, 22 Stetman Gans, and 23 Willie Leroux.
Okay, Leighton, you're welcome to kick it off.
Hi Clinton, thank you very much. Hello Johan, ek hoop dit gaan goed. Um, just on the team selection, in the past, coaches would have been tempted looking at the URC to maybe rest some guys, but you guys are in a crucial stage of your season in terms of the top eight fight as well. Was this team selected with continuity, getting the guys to play week in, week out, rather than resting them to fight in the URC?
Yeah, hello, Leighton. Yeah, I mean, we had a month or two of a lot of breaks in between. So, there was that long break, and then we played, and then another week break after the Sharks game before we played the Stormers, and then Cardiff and Munster. So we only played 3 games in a row, and this game is a big game. It's an opportunity for us to progress in a competition. So therefore, we felt we can still keep our continuity going, and it's a game that we're going to give it our best. Obviously, every game you play, you want to win. So if we can win, we'll take it from there. And if we don't win, then obviously there will be a week that we won't play. So that's why. So we just feel we can't control the future. We can only control what we know is ahead, and that is Glasgow. That's the challenge.
And then speaking about that challenge of Glasgow, you obviously have a full strength side. What do you expect from them at the Scotstoun?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously there's a few players that is really unlucky not to be involved, but we've got a strong side, and we know we have to be at our best because Glasgow is in the URC and in Europe one of the best sides in the competition. They've got a lot of internationals. Scotland had a good Six Nations, so there's a lot of players with confidence. They play an exciting brand, scored a lot of tries, good set piece, and they've got a massive good home record. So it's a big challenge for us, but it's a great opportunity as well. And thinking about the fact that when I played, and also players, you play the game to play against the best players in the world. You constantly Rappi is there to test yourself, and that's what we will get on Saturday is an opportunity to test ourselves and to just you can only play so much games in your career that is of high quality, and that's a great opportunity, and this is one of it.
And then just lastly, how did you, or how do you guys separate what's happening on Saturday in terms of the Champions Cup, and then also while you are fighting in the URC, was it chats about let's park the URC for this weekend and fully just submerge us in what could happen over the next 2 weekends?
Yeah, like I said, Saturday after the Munster game, that when the media asked me about what will our plan and we be for this week, I said no. It's a privilege to play in a playoff game in the EPCR is one of the world's best competitions. it includes all the countries in the world apart from Australia, Argentina, and New Zealand. But you play against the French teams, England teams, Ireland, Scotland, all the URC teams, and I think it's just fair to see how far we can progress in this competition. And it probably could have been easier if we played at home, but so be it. Now we play Glasgow away, and that makes it a great game, to come to. And like I said, for me personally, that experiencing my first year with the Bulls in the different competitions, for me, we respect both competitions and we want to treat it fairly, and therefore give it a go on the weekend, and then we'll reassess where we are after the game. But we can't go ahead of ourselves. We can't worry about URC now. It is now time for Europe first, and then we'll take it from there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nathan. Over to you.
Thank you very much. May I ask 2 questions up front, please?
Sure thing.
Awesome, thank you. Good day, Akis. Coach, just one of the first question was around Marco van Staden. I mean, as a coach, I mean, how have you assessed his positioning, especially in at hooker position?
No, it's been good, eh? Obviously, so far we can't fault him. It's a big opportunity for him because I think the Springboks is looking to do the same, to use him as a player that can play in 2 positions. So this was probably obviously great for his international ambitions as well, if I can call it like that. So we don't play him at hooker just as a backup. He's really training well there. We saw last week against Munster, he throwed in the ball good, scrummed well. So hopefully that can keep on progressing, but yet, like I said, he does give us the option to use him at back row as well. So so Marco is very comfortable with playing both roles and playing in both positions. So it's something that's good for the team.
Then finally, is it comforting in a way that you understand your opposition even more? I mean, Glasgow do feature with you guys in the URC. I mean, in terms of prep, I mean, does it help you able to understand the Glasgow guys? Because I mean, you've played against them at Glasgow a couple of times.
Yeah, I mean, even myself, it's my second time experience now with them. Obviously there's some players that have experienced Glasgow now for the last 4 or 5 years that have been in the URC, and there's a bit of history with the Bulls and Glasgow playing each other. So definitely it helps. But we respect Glasgow, the way they play, the style they play, the brand. They are, they build up a great squad over the last couple of years. They got a lot of continuity in their coaching with Franco being there, and also with the squad players that plays for Scotland and then back for Glasgow. So yeah, so it's a well respected team, but it's good. I think both teams know each other quite well, so it's going to be a great game.
Awesome, all the best.
Thanks a lot.
Jan de Koning, jump in.
Thanks, Linton. Johan, thanks for chatting. Your team obviously littered with Springboks throughout. And as they say in the classics, the highest tree catches the most wind. We've seen some severe criticism, not just of your team, but of players like Henry Pollard and Willie, perhaps. Speak to us about the role they play, even when it seems to us mere mortals that they don't perform at the level that we see them perform in World Cups.
I mean, hello, Jan. I think Tide Furlong was regarded as one of the best tight heads in world rugby, and then he got scrummed by the Italians, and everybody wanted to have a comment. The players goes up and down like anything in life. Everybody in rugby, Sasha had criticism, Willie has got criticism, Andre. That's the reality. There's people has got no mercy. It's crazy that 1 week they can win a World Cup, and 2 weeks later the same person can be breakdown and cracked on, you know. So that's the reality we live in. That sport is got its highs and its lows. So we obviously can only judge, but by you know what we see, what we experience in the week building up to a game. And selection is never easy. You're always going to disappoint players if you don't select them, you know, but you can only, if you've got a squad of 40, 45 players, you can only pick 23. There will always be disappointment. And sometimes it's small margins. You have to think, how's the weather going to be? You can't control that. Then you have to think, is the game going to be chased down in the last 20 minutes, or are you going to lead in the last 20 minutes? You know, you're going to, players off the bench have to cover more than one position. Then you got the experience factor, you know, do you go with no experience or experience? So there's so many factors, and ultimately you have to make a decision. That's just anything about rugby. You have to make a decision and back that decision, and then we'll live and with the result. You can't change it and say, oh, I should have or could have. It's gone, it's done. You can't turn it back. So that's the toughest thing about coaching. You pick 23 players, and then you know sometimes it come, you know, you just have to back them and believe that they can do the job. And all of the players, I mean, it doesn't matter who it is. We know what they can do, and hopefully that, you know, when we really need it, they will stand up and show that. But everybody is still human, you know. So mistakes there will be, as long as we can, you know, support each other and be there for each other.
Thanks very much, Johan. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jan.
Purvis?
Thanks, Clinton. Hallo, Akkers.
Yes.
Akkers, jy het nou verwys dat Saterdag se wedstryd een van daai is wat jy weet wat die spelers hulle self graag en wil meet as 'n span ook uiteraard. Wat sal dit, dis jou eerste seisoen aan stuur by die Bulle, wat sal dit vir die span se vooruitgang beteken as jy 'n span soos Glasgow weg van die huis af kan wen in so 'n belangrike wedstryd so Saterdag?
Ja, ek dink dit sal net weet as 'n tree in die regte rigting wees, want as ek dit bedoel ek jy weet ons het niemand het ons in die situasie wat ons was 'n kans gegee om te vorder nadat ons teen Northampton so sleg verloor het nie, en tog is ons nou in die uitspele, jy weet. So as mens nog 'n tree verder kan gaan, dan jy weet, is dit great vir die span se self belief in mekaar. Jy weet, die groot ding vir my is jy weet, hierdie is 'n span, jy gaan nooit weer die geleentheid kry om in 'n uitspel. Niks is verseker nie. So jy moet elke kans kry wat jy kry as jy by uitspele kom. So as ons hierdie kan regkry om teen Glasgow te wen, ons is bly dan in die Europese kompetisie, en 2, jy weet, natuurlik sal dit 'n ou selfvertroue gee as dit kom by latere uitspelwedstryde, of dit nou in die URC is of wat ook al. Maar ag Kobus, jy weet, op die ou van die dag, weet ek dink sport, jy speel in sport om so goed as moontlik te doen, jy weet. En dis hoekom ek dink as 'n span dit is al wat ons wil doen, is ons wil Saterdag gaan, en ons weet ons speel teen, soos ek vroeër gesê het, teen een van die beste spanne in die kompetisie. Maar jy moet ook glo dat jy kan wen, jy weet. Dis hoekom ons deelneem aan sport, alhoewel ons wil nie sê jou genot kom uit net uit wen en verloor nie, maar ons moet onsself 'n kans gee, en ons moet hierdie oomblik geniet ook, jy weet. So dit is 'n fyn balans. So ek wil nie sê, want elke span elke jaar verander. So ek wil nie sê dit is 'n progressie vir my in my eerste jaar, vir waar ons begin het in die jaar en bietjie swaar tye gehad het nie, want ons het nog niks bereik nie. Maar die realiteit is jy weet, ek dink dit sal net wonderlik vir die span wees as ons kan aanbeweeg in hierdie kompetisie, maar ons is onder geen illusie wat so groot uitdaging hierdie is nie.
Thanks, Akkers. Sterkte.
Dankie Kobus, dankie.
Okay, MV, your turn.
Hello, Johan. What's the weather like there? Is it cold? Is it rainy? And also that surface, that 4G surface, what's that looking like?
Yeah, hello, Envia. Well, first day, we just recovered. Yesterday, Wednesday, we trained in rain, so it was cold and rainy. And today we had the perfect day. So it was no clouds, sun was shining, a little bit of chill in the air, but beautiful day compared to yesterday. But according to our information, everything is going to change to the weekend. It's going to rain again. So it's a bit of an unknown factor of what the conditions is going to be like on Saturday, 5:30 when we kick off. But like I said, according to the locals, yeah, it's definitely going to rain. So I think we were just welcomed by the sun today to feel a bit more at home. And the 4G pitch, we're only going to do captains tomorrow on the pitch. Obviously, most of the players has played on that pitch before, so we know what to expect. We trained yesterday and today on a 4G pitch, so it does the ball bounce a bit differently. The breakdown is a little bit. You have to look after the ball a bit better because it rolls and bobbles around. So those things we're aware of. The scrummaging, is a little bit different compared to grass. So we had a few scrums today, and we're gonna take a few scrums tomorrow at the field. So just get used, because that surface is quite different from other 4G pitches, because I think it gets used quite a lot. So it's a bit more firmer. But all those things, it's challenges, but it's stuff that's out of our control. Ultimately, we've got a certain plan. Hopefully we can execute that plan, and most of all, as long as we've got the right attitude.
Just one last thing about that 4G pitch. I mean, we talked about it before, how much faster the game is actually, and the ball bounces differently, like you just said. But also the risk of injury. What's your feeling about that?
Oh, the last time we played here, we were fortunate we didn't pick up any injuries, and hopefully that will be the same. But it is a different surface. I think there's always a little bit of difference, but it's definitely fast. Everybody is running a little bit faster. The game is generally faster. The ball control on the floor is a bit different, and then most of all, the ball bounce differently than on a grass pitch, if you do allow it to bounce. But I don't think from an injury point of view, it's more the grass burns. It's more the last time we played Edinburgh, we had a lot of guys with bad skin burns, and some of them got affected because obviously it's a rubber stuff, and there's a lot of things that I think get stuck into the wounds, and so it's more after the game that there's a bit of risk. Hopefully in the game, let's trust that there's going to be no injuries, and we can have our best team available during the game and put the reserves on when needed to.
Awesome. Well done, and good luck. Best of luck.
Thanks, Emia.
Brendan, come in here.
How's it, Duckers? Just maybe something on the team there. After Emvie, I was going to ask a similar question to Emvie about the pitch. Just in terms of Cameron coming into the starting lineup, you guys are obviously satisfied that he's fine, he's 100% right, especially in terms of a 4G pitch. You can understand the concern there.
Yeah, no, Brendan, obviously, like we just spoke about, the pitch is different than normally that we play on, but everybody in this team I'm sure has played there on it before. And regarding Cameron, he's been, like I said, we've really blooded him in since his return with his injury, in first of all getting enough volume in him, and then he played the 2 games. And obviously we know that the Glasgow is a fast team. They've got fast players. They've got a back that can move. They've got a exceptional backline with a lot of skill, and so Cameron is renowned for his speed and his movement. And you look at that we want to obviously see if we can get him from the start on the field and getting stuck into the game. So that was our thinking there. And then you got either Marco or Jandre who can come on and hopefully make a difference, like we just said, if the game is fast, and bring the impact from the bench. So it's an exciting challenge for us, and hopefully Cameron will have a good game.
Thanks. And then just the last one, just also on the other change, obviously Stedman going down to the bench, Kanan moving back into the centres, and Cheswell coming onto the wing. How much was that on Cheswell's try last week, and that the way he scored that try, and how much was it, I suppose, for the speed of the pitch as well? What was behind that decision?
I can't give away too much the tactical reason why. I'm sure Franco will listen to everything, but no, there was a bit of thinking about a combination of things, Brendan, and like I said, it's just a great opportunity for Cheswell as a young guy to be out there in a big game against internationals. So hopefully he will use this and to just further what we've already seen from him. But no, I think that's I think there is reason for those changes, and again, the luxury of having Stedman on the bench is he's proven himself now at 12. He's proven himself at 13, so that gives us opportunity to bring him on in one of those positions and make a difference off the bench.
Thanks, because I just want to ask next week if you're either going to Toulon or Cape Town, or if none of those scenarios play out, do you guys stay in Scotland, England? Where are you planning to base yourselves?
Well, we will go to France and then stay there for a few days, and then because otherwise we have to stay in Wales for 3 weeks, and we feel the players, obviously it's already a big challenge to be away from home for a month. So just to stay because we stay for both games in Cardiff, for both the Wales games, so that will add a 3rd week in the same hotel, same place. So we for what it's worth, decided to go to France. If it's not Toulon, we obviously have to go to South Africa. If we don't progress, then it's just a few days in France where it's a different setting, and hopefully the boys can mentally freshen up and be ready for whatever next challenge there is.
Oh, thanks. Now I could agree. I think France is better than 3 weeks in Cardiff. So,
Dankie, Annemie. Are you still there?
Yeah, thanks. No, Brendan just covered my question. Thank you very much, Clinton. Hello, Johan.
Okay.
Hello, Annemie.
Thanks. And then is Kobus still there? If not Kobus, then over to you, Martin.
Hi, Johan. I'm just wondering, did the decision from Glasgow to rest so many of their international players last time out take you by surprise at all? And do you think that just gives them a little extra advantage going into this game?
Hi, Martin. No, I think, they had a lot of rugby. If you look at the intensity and the workload that a lot of those players had in the Six Nations, I think I would have done the similar thing, give the guys just a bit of time to recoup they physically, but also mentally, to maybe spend a bit of time with families and friends, and then they won't, they've been together, the Glasgow side, for a fair bit of seasons now, so those players it's not like they will lose any physical conditioning or detail from a playing perspective. So I think it will be an easy slot in. If anything, if they did completely took their foot off the pedal, hopefully it will help us a little bit if they're not 100% match ready. But I doubt it. I just think if I had the number of players returning after 5-6 big test matches, I would have done the same. Give them a week or two off. And then just slot them in for a big game like this. So no, I don't see that. I think as anything really factored in this game, it's going to be too two good teams going out, and yeah, I think every player will be 100% ready to go.
Thanks. And just finally from me, Bulls are still the last team to win a game at Scotstoun. That was nearly a year ago now. Is there anything you think your players can take from that confidence, or is that very much in the past now?
Yeah, I'm not a big believer, Martin, to look at the past, neither the future. You know, things that is out of your control, or like a you know, kind of revenge mindset, or you know, you hear a lot of teams talk about that, or you want to take revenge, or you know, or remember you beat them there last time. You know, we don't reflect too much. Well, that's not how I like to do it as a coach. So we haven't referred to that. But saying that, you know, as a you know, I remember when you play and you had a good victory at a place, it does stick to you and in your mind. So the players can take confidence, those who were there, that it can be done. You know, we know that they got a very proud record, and they haven't lost at home for, I think they only lost like 3 games in I don't know how many games. But there's a lot of players, and even when we played October, my first experience at Kingsband was that, you know, we were close, we were in it until the end, and so hopefully, you know, it is a big occasion against, like I said, one of the best teams in the competition, but hopefully we will at least, and like anything, you have to believe, you know, so hopefully we'll pitch up with a lot of belief that we can do it.
Thank you very much.
Coach, thanks very much. I think we'll leave it there. Best of luck for the weekend, and thanks to the media for hopping on the call.
Thanks, Glenn. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.